Lean in, it's the one and only Optibottom coming with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Slash and Leatherhead Target exclusive 2-pack.
But Optibottomness, you said you weren't gonna be reviewing NECA stuff no more.
No, I said I wanted to support or promote their products if they didn't fix some of their issues. And recently, NECA has started doing some things that are going in the right direction. Things that I really do appreciate, both as just a general consumer and collector of these. That being, they're releasing a lot of these figures through other means, such as their website, and by offering them up as pre-orders. Now, these ones are not a part of that. However, there do seem to be more stock, I guess, lately. These are showing up in a lot of places fairly readily, which goes a long way, in my opinion, to combating the whole scalper thing. Releasing them in stores in more quantities also means that people don't have to rely on websites, which bring in the whole bot discussion. But the pre-order thing is also something I really do appreciate. Some things they can't go back and fix because deals are already in place, and I understand all of that. As a reviewer, I have a very intimate knowledge of a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that companies go through. Not so much because I'm a reviewer, but because I'm a reviewer, I have made a lot of friends in the industry, and I get a lot of that knowledge. So I get that deals were in place and things were already kind of in motion. But NECA was able to go and put the brakes on some of that with a couple things. For example, recently, they offered a 1-week window where you could pre-order their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 2 Secret of the Ooze Super Shredder. It was originally going to be a Walmart exclusive, but they were able to put the brakes on that and offer it as kind of like a made-to-order pre-order. They announced it a week before the week pre-order window, and then you had that week to pre-order it. Now, I know that's still going to make a lot of people upset because, like, well, I want to be able to find it in a store. I didn't have the money at the time. I understand all of that, but at least it's better than what they were doing before. And like I said, you kind of had a 2-week window so that you could come up with the roughly $50 for everything. And then also recently, they were able to go back and revisit Metalhead, which is a figure that I did get. I haven't done a video on it unless you're a patron. You were able to see an exclusive review of that set. But that figure was a Target exclusive. The animated figures are Target exclusive. The movie ones are Walmart. And while Metalheads are still going out to Target stores, they're able to offer again a 1-week pre-order window for Metalhead. It ships later on, I think it's November, but you still can get the figure without having to worry about finding it in a store, dealing with bots, dealing with scalpers, all that BS. So again, they're doing things to try and fix some of those issues and make things right, I feel. I've been very outspoken about how I don't like how NECA does a lot of their stuff. But I also feel that credit should be given when it's due, and I think that they're doing some good things. They also announced recently they're going to be doing a movie version of April O'Neil, which also will be a pre-order thing. So apparently the Toka and Rahzar was very successful because it's showing by them willing to do it with other things. So hopefully this set is something that they'll be able to go back, revisit, and make available much like they're doing with Metalhead. Now, that's a huge tangent. I apologize for wasting your guys' time. I'm going to review this set. One thing that I've just kind of noticed is that all of the different like accessories down here, they've fallen out and they're all down here, so that kind of sucks. But packaging is absolutely gorgeous. This is the Slash figure that I really wanted from the beginning. We got that video game one, which I didn't mind all that much because that video game look also looked like the comic book version of Slash. But this was ultimately the one that I wanted to have. I think that this looks great. You also get Leatherhead. Now, personally, I wish that this was released separately and Leatherhead was packaged with one of the frogs. You remember those. You had Napoleon, you had Genghis Khan. I'm trying to remember the other ones. That's 2. Attila, and I forgot the other one. But those were kind of tied to each other because he was in the bayou down in Florida, all that kind of stuff. I guarantee That's my impression of him. It's not very good. But there was that really cool episode where he captured the frogs. And I think that that would have been a nice sort of set to kind of go with them. I mean, we're getting, Vernon and the Rat King, and there was an episode where Vernon was transformed into a rat. So it just would have made more sense to do the frogs. But I think they're gonna do it. Not necessarily as a two-pack set like this or anything, but I think they are gonna do the frogs. But I love it. I love the animation here. They nail it. They get that cartoon look. The side here has a really cool image of Slash. Other side here has a nice up-close image of Leatherhead. Come around to the back of the package, you've got cool images of both of them. You got other ones that are out there. Bebop and Rocksteady, that's still a tough one to find. I've yet to see that in stores. Casey and the Slash Foot Soldier are also showing up, much like this set. That seems to be showing up a little bit more frequently as well, which again is nice to see in stores. April and the Foot Soldier are going to be coming out a little bit later on. I think they just released, at least online, so they should be showing up in stores fairly soon, I want to say, but time will tell. But I'll probably do a video on that because I got a lot of opinions about that April figure. And then it says, after being accidentally exposed to radioactive ooze, 4 ordinary household pets are transformed into a band of wisecracking, pizza-loving, villain-dicing adolescent reptiles. Meet Leonardo, the super cool, sword-wielding leader, Raphael, the jokester, hurling manholes and one-liners in rapid succession, Donatello, the brains behind the brawn, and Michelangelo, the ice cream pizza gobbling party animal. Whether it's facing fierce enemies or saving humanity from near extinction with the guidance of their sensei, these heroes in a half shell are always ready for straight out of the sewer action. Kind of sucks that there's no read-up on these guys, but it is what it is. So I've been wasting your guys' time a lot, but for the packaging on it, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get them out here and see how cool they actually are. Alright guys, so here we have Slash and Leatherhead opened up and out of their packaging. And first, before I get into anything, yes, these figures I needed to use the heat up technique. You can do any way that you want. I personally just put them in a little bit of boiling water. But just about every joint on these figures were completely frozen. I test it by taking them out and then slightly bending the joints. If they don't move easily right away, then I don't even push it. I just start boiling water. You can also use a hair dryer, things like that. Anything to kind of melt of sorts the paint that has frozen the joints. I don't know why some do it and some don't. It's got to be one of the factories that they're using. I really wish they would fix that. But starting off first with the Slash figure here. Now, both of these share parts with previously released figures. Slash a little bit more, but looking at his accessories, he comes with 2 swords. All of the paint detail is really very nice. You can see you got a nice gray plastic or paint on here with a nice black line going through the middle of it. You got some nice detail and paint down here for the handles. You get 2 of them. Both of these are pretty much identical for the most part. These both look really good. He holds them fairly decently. There's a little bit of scuff, but I don't mind it because it kind of adds a little flair to it, I suppose. Then he comes with, I love this, a chunk of pizza. All right, I shouldn't say a chunk of pizza, but a pizza with a chunk bitten out of it. Doesn't really match with like, I mean, I guess you could kind of do something like that if you really wanted to. I mean, he can hold it fairly decently, so I do like that. Nice detail all the way around. There's some nice texture here on the bottom. You can see that it's layered, so you got some crust, some cheese, pepperoni on there. Obviously the sauce, all really nicely detailed. Then he comes with a couple other accessories. Both of these, I'm trying to remember if he ate pizza. I don't remember if he ate that in like the first episode. This was something from like the first episode. These are also from the first episode. If you remember, he was mutated from Bebop's pet snapping turtle, and we get a snapping turtle. Now, it doesn't really look like a snapping turtle, but it nicely resembles him. You got some eyes, some really nice lighter and darker green paint. I love the way that this looks. And then, because in the episode, he loved his little binky, which was a little plastic palm tree. He's looking up at it lovingly right now. I love that they included this. Unfortunately, it doesn't really stand very well because it kind of goes off on the side. So when you put it down, it just falls over. But when they mutated him, they lost this. This was accidentally like flushed or something like that, and he went into a frenzy trying to get it. He ended up going on a rocket. He found a little plastic, or he ended up going in a trash heap that went on a rocket that got launched into space, which then brings these extra accessories in here. So I love the fact that he comes with these. This is kind of like a nice extra accessory for Bebop, I guess. And then this just is a great accessory to have along with him. Super, super fun. Now he does come with these. He didn't have this in the first episode, but the backpack was something that he added later on. Like I said, he got blasted off into space. I don't remember the episode entirely, but I guess he came across somebody. I remember him getting like super smart in the episode and was able to make these weapons, and he got this backpack. I don't know what the backpack does, but this is one of the guns that when Donatello first recognizes that Slash has returned, Slash pulls this weapon out and starts shooting at Donatello. Really nicely detailed and painted on this as well. Mostly you got gray, you got some lighter gray, some darker gray, some extra accents and everything. Overall, really very nice. I love the purple on there. Of course, purple because, you know, he was shooting Donatello. Really very nice detail on there. And then he comes with his, I think he called it, or Donatello called it, the animalizing gun or something. He used this to shoot Vernon and Burn, I think it was. But again, really nice detail. What I don't like is that this is, for some reason, this top section is rubbery. You can feel the difference because that squeezes. The bottom section here is all hard plastic, but that's rubbery. And then this is also rubbery, and that kind of bends around. So I find myself kind of trying to force it to go in a straight sort of direction. But I like this. This is a nice extra accessory as well. Holding them is a little bit tricky. You kind of wedge it in there, and the way that the hand is, I mean, you can rotate it around to get it in there, but he doesn't hold it all that flush, so it's a little bit tricky. I guess that's pretty good. That looks decent. So nice accessories with Slash here. For the figure itself, using the original for comparison, you can see he doesn't really have a lot of similarities between the vintage figure and the cartoon look for him. That was definitely more how he looked in like the video game and comic. Because as you can see, this looks a lot more reminiscent than this does. But here you have that one that just came out. So when you're looking at it, like these pieces are different. The arms are the same. The body is the same from what I can really tell. Although the shell might be a little bit different. Mostly because, oh no, like that one is a new piece. Because this, it's shaved down. That one's not. So the shell's a little bit different, although very similar. Really all they did was change, and that might just be glued on there so they can swap that out, honestly. That's probably how I would do it. So mostly the shell is the same. The arms are the same. Obviously the head is different. The torso body area here is the same. The belt's different. The hands are different. You can see that he's got the little shredder bits, much like the vintage one did. That just has a spike there. The legs look like they're the same. Yeah, the legs are the same. Obviously, the feet are going to be the same as well. I do like how they got paint on here where they were missing that on this one. And then the little knee pads are different as well. Overall, I mean, like I said, I don't mind, and obviously the head is drastically different. I don't mind this because it does remind me more of that comic book look for him. That's what I dig about it. I do kind of wish, oh, what the... Oh, I forgot that he comes with grenades. I just... Whew, that freaked me out, thinking that I broke something. So, just tuck that on there. So, I don't mind having this one in my display. And I didn't mind double dipping to get a new one. Because this is, like I said, this is the one that I really wanted, ultimately. I think that this guy looks great. He does have the backpack, like I said, that he used in his reappearance episode. This piece right here pops out. I don't know if it's supposed to be permanently fixed in there, but it just kind of falls out a lot. So you can kind of force it in there. It makes it look a little bit better, but probably will fall out again. This is rubber, though, from what I can tell. If you wanted to remove this, you probably could by popping his head off, but then you'd have difficulty getting this over the spikes. And like I said, because of that, I don't know if I would want to stretch anything to pull it off. So I don't know if you would want to remove that. You probably could if you heated some stuff up, maybe heated the arms to pop those off or something. I don't know. But I love the way that this guy looks. I mean, he's got that very, very iconic look. He had a very goofy looking face. He's got that more metallic head thing, or with like the eyes. I mean, you kind of had that here. So, I mean, I like that. Again, the armor here is a little bit different. I like the spike right here. I mean, that all matches more with the cartoon, and I think that they did a terrific job with recreating this. First articulation is basically the same. The head here is on a ball joint. The bottom section here, I don't know necessarily. I mean, you can pop that off. That's just a ball joint, I would imagine. But I don't know if that bottom one moves. It kind of feels like it moves. I'm not. If you remember, this broke. This one isn't broken. The other one, I had to buy 2 of these. This one's not broken. But I'm not going to force that at all and break anything. But great detail on there with the head. He's got the little bumps and everything. I love the teeth hanging out here on the side. Goofy looking face. Absolutely gorgeous. But the articulation at the arms, they go out. Again, very stiff. If you're going to move things around, try to put the pressure. Don't try bending his arms up here by moving this. Go up here and move it. That's the easiest way to put less tension on those joints. So you got a little bit of articulation there. Moves forward and back nicely. You can see that the upper bicep does have a swivel, does have a bend at the elbow itself. I do not like what NECA does with the painting of some of this stuff. Like, for example, here is his wrist. I guess that's not so bad, but when you move it around, you see the green plastic for it. A lot of times they paint it, and you'll see that here with Leatherhead. They paint that, but then when you move it around, it makes that paint rub off. So it's kind of annoying what they do. So you do have the elbow articulation, the wrist swivel, the forward and back. He does rotate at the, you can move things around. Oh, that just completely moved everything. There's this little turtle butt. Rotate that around. So you can do that. This is a little bit softer, so it kind of moves out of the way. So I like the fact that he does have a waist. He has hips that move forward and back, in and out. Again, fairly stiff. And I feel, see, when I move things around here, I kind of bump that, and that bothers me. So be careful with that piece when you're moving things around. Try not to hold it when you're doing it. He also does rotate at the upper part of the thigh. He's got 2 bends here at the knee, which are really nice. And then you come down to the ankles. Those move forward and back. And then they also do pivot side to side. So good articulation. It is basically the same as that previous release. I just... Looks-wise, I like this one a lot more. I think that it's more my style in terms... I mean, I love the comic books. I mean, everybody that follows me with any degree of regularity knows how much I love the comic books. I have several of them. So I love it. Well, technically, it was the Archie comics anyhow, so that's neither here nor there. But I love the cartoon look. I think this looks fantastic. Now, coming to Leatherhead. This guy comes with a lot of stuff. So he does come with several hands. You can see he's got a pair of fisted hands right there. He's got a left hand here that is kind of in a holding position. I don't know what he could hold. Kind of hold whatever he wants, I guess. He's got these 2 open gesturing hands that probably work nicely with his gun. Well, that's a little bit more open. You got the pinky finger kind of bent. That one's a little bit more open. And then he's got basically like a trigger finger hand right here. So I like that we get some extra hands. Again, I did have to put this in the boiling water just to loosen up those joints. Totally frozen when I took that out. He does come with his gun. This gun was used in, I want to say, the last episode that we saw him in. What the hell is that? Why does it look like... I mean, I don't really remember that last episode. The ones that always stick out in my mind are the very first episode when he is with the Punk Frogs, and then later on when he joins forces with the Rat King. That's like the first and second appearances of him. He was only in like 4 episodes, but this was in the last episode. I don't remember too much about it, but looks good. That kind of looks like ketchup bottles right there, but I like it. Nice wood color down here. You got the gray, the red, yellow, all that looks really good. And then, like I said, you can take this hand, and these are really stiff. I don't even know how you're going to get that in there. Oh, it's gone. It's another thing about the plastic that they use is really very rigid. There's no give with it much at all. So I feel like forcing that in there, I'm doing it anyhow, is probably going to scrape something just because their paint is... so do it anyhow, Paul. All right, here we go. So there we go. That's pretty decent, I guess. And then you can angle that around. You put that in his hand and have him go pew pew bang bang with that, I guess. So you do have that. Now he does come with his little lobster handcuff things. He comes with 2 of them. The problem that I have though is like when you come to the figure, so you got like this little loop thingy right here. I don't know what you can use this for at all because it's locked up. So I don't know. I mean, I want to say that he just used one of these to put in there. So I guess maybe you could do that. But then you got the chain there. I don't know. And then this little hook thing, you can't really put... Can't really do anything with that. What the fuck? Wonderful quality of NECA. So I don't even know if that's going to sit there. So no, that's all right. Well, that's going to go away. So yeah, I have no idea what you can do with these at all. I don't know where you can store them. That right there, I feel like you could probably use... Is something else going to break on this one? God damn it. I guess you could kind of do... No, because that's too big for that. So I have no idea what you can use that for. Here's one of his little trap things. And again, I don't know, maybe put the teeth through there? I have no idea what you can put on that. You obviously can't use these. Where'd that fucking little piece go? Oh, there it is. I better not lose that. So I'm going to set that out to the side. So you do get 2 of them, and I don't know what you can do with either of them. Nice paint detail. You can see the bottom is a little bit more orangish than the top, or vice versa. I don't even know what the top or bottom is, but you do have that. Some nice panel lines in there. Appreciate that. That's cool. He does come with this trap section here that you can see. You can open it up. You can rotate this around, and it can snap closed, which is cool. Again, I don't know exactly where you can store this on him. I feel like you should be able to hang that off of his belt or something. He does come with the necktie. Now, he originally had this put on him by the Rat King, except it's, I mean, you could kind of do like that, but it's not closed. He did get out of this and then keep it and use this for April. So maybe that'll fit around April's neck, and then you have a metal chain here that he can hold on to and do your thing. So you can have him use that, hold that, which that would look cool when you get April. It'll look very like Princess Leia-ish. So that's neat. Again, you can open it and close it. Can't really, like I said, put it around his neck, but maybe you'll be able to use it in the future. You got that. You also do get this rope. It comes with a noose. It's in the shape of a noose. I don't know why you would need this as a noose, honestly. He did get tied up, so I guess you could theoretically make it a little bit easier on yourself just to kind of go like this and then tighten it around him. And no, it's a little bit thicker, so I guess maybe you could do something like this. So when the turtles and the frogs captured them, they basically were able to tie them like this. So maybe you could do something like this and have the turtles leading them around. And then they went and stepped in some quicksand and they started going in. And then April was like, hey, where we go, you go. Because she was holding the end of that. So I'd like that. I guess you could wrap it around a little bit more, make it look a little bit more realistic. So that's cool. I like that. I don't know necessarily... like I said, if I pull this out, I have no idea how to tie a knot like this, so I'm going to leave it just like that. So that's cool. And then he also does come with his net that he used to actually capture the turtles. It was like this, And then it ended up getting all 4 of the turtles and April trapped. You can probably do a little tying thing here, and you can put all the turtles in there if you really wanted to. Something like that. I mean, that's neat. I love that. Little touches like that are really fun. I appreciate that they're throwing in some of those extra accessories. Don't know why they didn't include his bazooka in the episode with the Rat King. He used the big giant bazooka to fight off the turtles and the Rat King, because in that episode he was kind of enemies with the Rat King. So those are all of his accessories. Let's get all this stuff here cleared out of the way. This guy is really nice though. A bigger figure, uses some of, let me bring in Bebop and Rocksteady. I feel like he uses some of their parts, and yeah, definitely some reused stuff going on here. So let's put Bebop back there with his little buddy. Rocksteady here, I've discovered, has a really difficult time standing, and it's aggravating me because the ankles are a little bit weak, and he tends to fall like that right there. And I do have the NECA display stands, which are nice, but doesn't help when the ankles are weak. So looking at the arms look the same. These pieces here might be added on after the fact. So arms look the same on the figures, the larger figures. The legs, his legs are different because he's got little pockets. Let's look at Bebop's. His legs, maybe this one is the same. This one is different though, because this has a little strap around there, but again, that might just be glued on there. So the legs might, or at least the upper thighs might be the same. Taking a look at the feet, those look different. The lower legs are different, but there's some reused stuff clearly, but you almost don't even really notice it. But you can see size-wise how these guys kind of stack up with one another. I feel like Leatherhead should be a little bit bigger, to be totally honest. And I don't like the way his feet are either. So let's get him standing. Like I said, I feel like he should be a little bit bigger than these. Bringing in Leonardo, you can see that. Oh, there he goes. You can see it. You can see it happening. So I feel like the scale here works really nicely. Except I do think that he should be a little bit bigger. He towered over pretty much everybody. And while, yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that he is bigger than Bebop and Rocksteady. They're kind of hunched over. He is a little bit as well, but I do still appreciate the fact that he's larger than the turtles. That's a real nice touch. But yeah, I mean, they're all kind of, like I said, hunched over a bit. Get Slash kind of out of the way. I mean, you can definitely see that he is taller, which is cool. So getting these out. One thing I do want to mention is that when you get this in the package, you get it opened up, the tail is a separate piece. It is difficult to kind of lock that on. It's on a ball joint, but again, if you're already going to be heating this up, just throw the tail in the water or use your hair dryer as well. Heat that up, get it a little bit softer, and then it pops on fairly easily. Great detail, though, on this guy. I love the way that he looks. A lot of people probably know Leatherhead because of the more recent 2012 series where he was actually a friend to the Turtles. He was not back in the original cartoon. But great detail on here. Definitely has a very Cajun sort of look with the hat. Obviously, he's an alligator, so there's a lot of gators down there in the bayou. Gorgeous detail with like the neck section. His ripped up vest looks really very cool. It feels like it's a part of the body, so that's a really gorgeous detail piece. And then I do like all the black line detail that they add on there. That sucks. Again, you got the little hook thing here. I don't know what you can use that for. Probably figure out something, but this is kind of what I was talking about when it comes to the paint detail though. So that right there, let me bring that back. That is flesh color, which, why is that flesh color? It should be the same color as like his boots, right? Problem though is because they have black back here, and then you got that, it's like they paint it differently. So that's got purple, that's got purple, that's worn off, and that's worn off. So it's like they painted the peg purple to match with things. But now that it's rubbed off, and that's just from articulating the figure. So, I mean, it's not so bad now, but I mean, that's ugly. I don't like that. But you can see that they use the same color. Like, for example, I don't even know if that's painted. That probably is painted, the little peg right there. But you can see, like, these are molded in a very similar color to the rest of the body. You can really notice it when you bend his arms. Get that? You can see that joint right there. So that's not painted. That's just molded in that plastic, which blends in. I don't know why they couldn't have just molded these black, to be honest. I mean, you're already doing them, right? I mean, you're already making those. So just use that color. I mean, is the color more expensive? I don't know. But I still like the look of the figure. It's just definitely a little off-putting because of those weird joints. Now, for his articulation, the head here is an interesting thing. You can see you can get him looking really far down and really high up. You can also turn his head and what? Oh, that did not sound good. That was a... What the... Jesus effing Christ. That was probably my fault. I should not have forced that, but I think that's just glued on there. Oh my God. Quality control. So you can rotate it. I mean, I guess I'll just have to glue that back on there. That's not terrible. See, but so there's that. But then you bend that down, and that, yeah, that whole thing just... All right, so you can get him looking left and right, which is nice. Because of how big the head is, I wasn't going to think that was possible. You can even actually open his mouth. Although I'm now terrified to do that because I don't know what else is going to break on this dude. But these are fun video reviews, aren't they, guys? The shoulders here and everything, those are all the same. You got the pin hinge joint. They go in and out. You got the rotation at the bicep. You got two joints at the elbow. Although this one doesn't like bending. This one, again, I did the heating thing, so you can get that. But this one doesn't like bending. And again, I'm not going to force that too much. You do have the rotation. You have the hinge for the wrists itself. He can give you a fist bump if you want to. You have what appears to be a ball joint here for the waist or stomach area or diaphragm. So you can kind of move that around. Like I said, this is on a ball joint, but obviously when you rotate it, it breaks up that scope there. So you can kind of move things around with that a little bit. Forward and back at the hips, in and out. They're on ratchet joints. So you can get a solid pose with that. Rotates at the upper part of the thigh. He's got two bends here at the knee itself. Come down to the ankles, and they do that stupid twisty thing, and then they go forward and back. So all the same basic articulation and the added benefit of having his head be able to be removed. So, I mean, all of that stuff I can fix, but again, this set was $50. There's definitely issues with some of it. Not so much with Slash, luckily, because he was the one that I had problems with the most, but I still think $50 is a good price. You know, $25 each for the figures. That's about what I'm comfortable paying. I do wish that they had better QC control, but it's NECA. Now, ultimately, I am pleased with this set. There are some issues in terms of quality, some of which, though, I do entirely blame myself. The head, I absolutely blame myself for. One thing that I didn't really think about, and as a word of caution, if you use any kind of heating technique, it probably makes whatever glue they used a little bit more fragile. So because I did, excuse me, because I did use that technique, it probably did weaken that. So when I was moving it around, that's more than likely why that happened. This, I have no idea. That just seems, I mean, maybe that's the same kind of thing. And conversely, maybe that's the same thing that happened with this backpack. Either way, just be careful when you're doing things. As I said, this is NECA, so there's a track record of things that you have to be worried about with them. But the figures are fantastic. The look is outstanding. I've said it time and time again, even in the times when I've been upset with them, that NECA consistently produces the best looking Ninja Turtle figures that we have ever gotten. And that's really true with a lot of their products. Their Predators, their Terminators, their Alien figures all do a great job of recreating that look. So I give NECA and the designers and everything a huge amount of credit. I just wish some of the things that they do have in their control were a little bit better. Not even talking about the scalpers, the bots, the way that things are sold. Not even talking about that. I'm talking about mostly things like the articulation. If that did break and all of these different pieces did fall apart because I did heat them up, yes, I take responsibility for that. However, I shouldn't have to do that with the figures. That shouldn't be a step after I open them. And that does fall on NECA. But overall, I still really like the figures. I do highly recommend them. As I mentioned, they do seem to be showing up in Target stores a little bit more readily. So if you're looking for these guys, good luck and happy hunting. Or make sure that you're following me on Twitter or Facebook, because if they do announce this set as something that they're going to be able to revisit and open as a pre-order, I'll make sure to post that so that you guys can get in on these. Right now, Metalhead is available. You can go to thenecastore.com and you can pre-order them. Fingers crossed, well, cross them, Paul, but fingers crossed that they do that with a lot of other figures. It would make things a whole lot easier. Granted, you're not going to get them as early, but hey, you're still going to get them. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you actually like this video, I would really appreciate it if you would do one very small thing for me. And that's simply just to hit that thumbs up button. That one very small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really very much appreciate it. Also, I want to send a huge shout out to all of my patrons who, through their continued support, now more than ever, help to make reviews like this possible. And if you'd like information on how you can help support my channel by becoming a patron, feel free to check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/Optibotimus. And as always, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.